What's up, y'all? I hope y'all are having an amazing evening. I had to just come up here real quick because I wanted to do a quick story time. Um, yes, tomorrow's October the 1st. As y'all can tell, I am at home with my babies. I got him over here. This AJ, Alex, my handsome face, he ain't never too far from me, okay? Anytime I'm somewhere, he right there next to me. It's just like he always want to be by me. Like definitely a boy mom, a mom son, I don't know, whatever. But yes, he's always next to me, my handsome face. And so I wanted to come out here, y'all, and do a story time, though. Just chat with y'all a little bit. I know I was supposed to make one last week about Faith Walk, but stuff happens. Stuff happens. So here I am today with this story time. I'm going to jump right into it. Yeah. So I wanted to talk about how God will take a little and do a whole lot with it. And I say that because I have seen him do it so many times over and over, like throughout my life when things were happening in my life, and I would lose a job, or I would lose a house, because me and my children have been homeless before, multiple times. Like, things happen, and when I tell you, every single time God will take a little bit and do a whole lot with it. When I felt like, dang, I don't have enough money for this, or like all odds just looked like it was impossible, but God would literally show up and make a way out of no way. And so I just want to encourage somebody that although you may have a little, and although it may look like, I don't know how this is possible, like I got this to pay. It could be a bill. I have this bill to pay. Can you turn the TV down? I feel like I'm yelling. It could be like, I have this bill to pay or something like that. And then you like, I don't know how it's going to happen, but don't even worry. Like, God already got it figured out. Now, I'm not saying don't work and don't be about your grind and trying to provide for yourself, right? Because we do have to be a doer. The money's not going to fall out the sky, but God will always make a way out of no way. And I say that, y'all, and my last situation was me actually moving here to Texas, y'all. When I moved to Texas, like, I didn't know how this whole move was finna work out. I had no idea. But, so let me go back a little bit. I was in North Carolina. I lived in North Carolina for 4 years. Me and my children went out there. My siblings was already out there, so we stayed out there for 4 years. A lot happened in North Carolina. I got to meet a lot of great people. I had a good time in North Carolina. I really did. I became an author. A lot of doors was open and everything, but I was good. I wasn't in the space where I wanted to leave. Like, I didn't want to leave North Carolina. Even the house that I was in, the town that I was in, I was satisfied. I didn't feel the need to move, but God had other plans, and that's why I say be sensitive to Holy Spirit. And when God is telling you to do something, that you have to just do it, because you never know what he has in store for you. And if you just wait a minute, or you just ignore the voice of God, you can miss the open door. You can miss what he's trying to do. So I was good in North Carolina. I never planned on leaving North Carolina, nothing like that. Like, that wasn't in my plan, but God had other plans. And so I kept feeling like it was like a sense of urgency for me to just go, like, for me to get up and go. And when I tell y'all, I moved in a month. Well, it was like less than a month, because I had went on vacation in April, in the beginning or middle of April, to Milwaukee. And then, yeah, when I got back from Milwaukee, and then by May 24th, I moved here May 24th. So it was less than a month. And when I tell y'all, everything fell into place, and it was like, I don't know how, because at the time I wasn't even working. Like, I wasn't working. And I was just winging it. I was just like, Lord, I trust you, because I done been through so many situations, and I done seen you be God in my life so many times, and I done seen you make a way out of no way so many times. that I trust you. And I kept getting this pull and this tug, like Texas. And I would get in my car and I would drive, and just doing my regular daily stuff. And I would always see like Texas license plates, and I'm like, I've been in North Carolina for 4 years. I have never seen this many Texas, I've never seen a Texas license plate, period, up until this point where God started talking to me about moving to Texas. Mind you, I don't know nobody here in Texas. I ain't know no single soul here. All of my family, they not here. So for me to trust God and say, okay, God, you're calling me to Texas. And then I was like, okay, if you telling me to move to Texas, I don't know how I'm finna do that because I ain't got no money to move nowhere. And I'm like, so Lord, this definitely gotta be you. And if this is your plan for my life, I need you to do this, because there's no way in my own strength and in my own power and in my own bank account I was gonna pull that off. So I had went over to a friend of mine's house on Easter, and we talked and had a good time. And then right before me and my kids had left, she was like, oh, I got something for you. And she handed me a Texas Roadhouse coupon. And I looked at it and I just smiled, because it was like, out of all the coupons in the world you gave me a Texas Roadhouse coupon, and the Texas was so big on the back of it. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you. And so I had mentioned to her, like, I really feel like the Lord leading me to Texas, to move to Texas, but I don't know nobody there. That's an unfamiliar place. I've never even visited Texas before, never been here. Y'all, when I brung me and my children here, that was our first time being here. When we moved here to get our keys to our house, like, all God, nothing but God, nothing but God. And so when I tell you God will do a little, or God will do a lot with a little, and it's so much more to this story. I just don't have the time to break it down because I'm in mommy mode now. This is my kids' time. But I just wanted to share with y'all how God will lead you. And if you obey, everything will work out. In less than a month, everything fell into place. Everything fell into place. And it was just God saying, hey, I got you. And this is what I need you to do. And if you obey and listen and follow my instructions, everything gonna be good. I did a virtual tour of my home. Signed my lease back when I was in North Carolina, rented a U-Haul, spent $1,200, and then I just want to break the amount down to y'all, because mind you, I wasn't working. I didn't have anything. Well, I had a couple $1,000s, but by the time I made this move, I was flat out broke. But then God provided once I got here, and it was just like everything was God. Everything was God. In my own ability, working with the things that I had and the resources that I had, it would have not happened. But I listened, and I was like, okay, Lord, if this is what you want me to do, then I'm gonna do it, because I trust you. I've seen you move mountains in my life too many times before. So if you telling me to move to Texas, then what's up? Then I'm going with it. And my sister, my oldest sister, she was like, are you sure? What you going to Texas for? Are you sure you ain't going? What you got going on down there? I'm like, nothing. I just heard the Lord, and I gotta obey. My mom, God bless my mama. I love my mama. She was like, if that's what God's telling you to do with everything that's going on in this world, you better do it. And I'm like, okay, but I'm like, yes, Lord, whatever you want me to do, yes, Lord, I'll do it. And he will, as long as you're willing, God is he gonna work through you. He gonna move through you, but you have to be willing. So a lot of times we be wanting God to do stuff, we be like, nah, I ain't gonna do that though. Like, God, you can move in my life, and yes, I'm willing and available, but then when he starts to move different things and he starts to take you to unfamiliar places where you have absolutely nobody, and it's just you and God, and you standing and trusting on God for everything, everybody can't handle that. Some people like, nah, move to Texas. Like, anybody else would be like, move to Texas. Like, absolutely not. Like, I don't even have no support system down there. But God said, I'm all the support that you need. Where I tell you to go there. And when you get there, I've already provided. Y'all, when I drove that U-Haul with me and my children and a few of our items, because I pretty much cleaned the house out. I sold my truck. I was like, God was telling me what to do, how to do it, and how to get it done. And when I pulled up, they was like, okay, here's your keys. Like, the place was already prepared for me. And so my phone decided it wanted to say it didn't have enough storage space, so of course I had to go and delete some things, but I'm back. So I just wanted to say, trust God. Trust God, and it don't take a whole lot. You don't have to have a whole lot for God to do something. You know, a lot of times we doubt God because we don't see how our circumstances is going to work out, or we don't see due to what we have. But you have to understand, that's when God is going to show himself mightily, because if you can't do it in your own power, if you can't do it in your own strength, if you can't do it with your own financial circumstances, then you know that it's nobody but God, and can't nobody get the glory for it but God. And so I just want to encourage somebody, if you feel like you have a little and God is trying to tell you to do something, and it seems so big, like it could be a move across the country, or it could be opening up a business, or it could be whatever it is that God is telling you to do, and you feel like, okay, you telling me to do this, but I don't know how this is going to work out, because what I'm able to do don't line up with what you are telling me to do. That's because God trying to get the glory out of it. That's just all you got to do is take the steps. When God said move to Texas, I was like, okay. He kept confirming that thing. I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and start looking for a place. Because if I'm going to move somewhere, I need a place to live. So let me go ahead and start looking for places. I was calling around, calling different places, just calling. You know how many houses I had to virtually tour and all of this stuff. And crazy part is, this was the first house that I applied for. This was the house that I ended up getting. It only took me 2 weeks for them to call me back and say, Miss Hooks, you are approved. And then let me just tell you how good God is, because I had already put in my notice for my old house back in North Carolina, and I had to be out of there by a certain time. And then they called me back. It was like, Miss Hooks, actually, you're able to move in a week before if you would like to. I said, look at God. I'm over here stressed out, worried, not knowing how I'm going to make this happen, not knowing how I'm going to make this happen, when the whole time it wasn't meant for me to make this happen. This was a God thing. This was a God move. This was God showing me yet again another time in my life, because he continues to prove himself to be God. This was me just activating my faith and say, okay, Lord, I heard you, and I'm going to do everything that I can do, and you going to do the rest. And I guarantee he's going to show up and do the rest. I'm a living witness, y'all. When I get up here and talk and say stuff, I speak with so much passion, because I'm speaking from a place of experience. I'm speaking of things that I have walked out. I don't get up here and tell y'all nothing that I ain't lived. And so if I get up here and say something, it's because I have seen that thing done in my own life, that I'm a living witness that, hey, God did it for me, he'll do it for you too, because he's no respecter of person. All he needs is your obedience. All he needs is for you to say, yes, Lord, I trust you. Yes, Lord, I trust you. No matter what it looks like. Yes, Lord, I trust you. You said do this. I trust you. First of all, I wasn't finna come up here and do no story time, because anybody that know me, I'm very transparent. So at this point, I already know that somebody is in need of this testimony, that somebody is in need of this story time. And so go ahead and share it with somebody else, because this is the second time that Apple decides to pop up and tell me that I don't have enough storage on my phone. And I'm confused, because I pay them monthly, so I don't even know why that would be an issue. But that just lets me know that somebody needs this. Because we could throw scripture at people all day long, but sometimes you have to tell people how you have walked things out and how you have overcame, so people can be relatable and understand that, hey, just like she was dealing with that, I'm actually in this situation now, and I'm trying to figure this thing out. So I just pray that this bless you, and you know, that you walk this thing out, and that you truly trust God. Trust God. Trust in the Lord. I am a living witness that when you obey God, he will blow your mind. When you obey him, just obey. Give him a yes, Lord. And then when he tell you to do something, do it. And it may look crazy, and it may feel uncomfortable, and you may end up in a place where you don't know nobody, and it's just you and God rocking it out. But that's where he needs you. And whatever he's going to do in your life in that place is going to be impactful. In the name of Jesus, whatever God is telling you to do, trust him. He got you. He got you. So I just want to come on here and say that, like I was saying, anybody that know me, I'm not the type to just, I'm very transparent, but some things, like, it's a lot of things y'all know about me, but it's a lot of things y'all don't know about me. But for me to share my experience of this move coming to Texas, and with it being still so new, because I've only been here 4 months, with it being so new and so fresh, I wasn't even going to share it. But I was sitting in there with my children, and God was just like, go ahead and tell this part of the story, because somebody needs it. We go through things so we can be a light. We go through things so we can guide the next person and say, hey, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. You obey God. This is how you do it. You get deep into your relationship with Christ, and you talk to him just like you would talk to that man on the phone all night long, or that woman on the phone all night long. You talk to God that way. And when you begin to commune with him, he will open up your eyes and he will reveal things to you. I never thought I would be in Texas. Like, I still wake up and be like, this is really life. Like, I just can't get in my car and drive down the street and go to my sister's house. Like, I'm really away from my people, following the voice of God. And every day I just wake up and I say, Lord, whatever you want me to do. Whatever you want me to do. And you brought me here. And I trust you. And he showed me that, yeah, when you couldn't figure it out, I had already had it figured out. And so I was worried about the details of it when he had already had everything in place for me. When I arrived here, everything was already in place. That's how God moves. And he wants to move like that in your life. If you allow him, and if you obey, and if you be sensitive to when he speaks, you listen. So faith walk it. Don't worry about your finance. Don't worry about what you got. Looking around you saying, well, this is the only thing that I have. Oh, that's all he needs. That only that you got, that little bit of money that you got, that little bit of faith that you got, that's all he needs. Remember that God can do a whole lot with a little. I love y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed this story time. And y'all be blessed. Subscribe to my channel. Like it, comment, engage with me. And I'll see y'all next time. God bless you.